A very good morning to Madam Chai Xin Yi. So today, we would like to present about our group assignment, which is how government obtain legitimacy. So, before I proceed with the introduction, I would like to introduce my group members, which is Aizah Hasdani, Hamzah Randura, Muhammad Ashraf, Shah Fahizan, and me, Christopher Wan William. So, I will present about the introduction. Legitimacy is simply the general population acceptance of the right of political institution or authorities to act. It establishes or strengthens authority by demonstrating citizens' support for a political body right to act. It also defines citizen belief that their government has the authority to make and enforce law. A state law establishes the guideline for what actions are legal. It gives the government or an individual the authority to govern. A legitimate government is governing process recognized by citizens as a legitimate rule. Legitimacy exists if it can demonstrate that power is acquired and exercised in accordance with established rules, that is, derived from a legitimate source of authority, that is, fulfill the rightful end and purposes of government, and that relevant subordinate publicly acknowledge it through action that conform to their acceptance of it. Gaining legitimacy is a need that is not limited to liberal democratic regimes, but it's considered a basic condition of rule because governing regimes that do not have at least a minimal amount of legitimacy face deadlock of collapse. As a result, every regime seeks to justify its range, which can be based on a variety of concepts. Throughout history, different concepts of legitimacy have competed and evolved.
Thank you for Christopher Wan for the introduction. Me as Muhammad Ashraf will explain more detail how government obtain legitimacy. The first point is period of existence. The long-established government is respected by citizens. A government that has been in place for a while won't have any trouble getting the people to obey it. The government in place will have no need to justify in existence as people have established a habit of obeying the government in the past. For instance, Barisan Nasional (BN) was founded in 1973 and has been in power for 61 years. This indicates that the government gained legitimacy by demonstrating its ability to meet citizens' needs within the confines of the presence. People choose the government because they think it can improve their quality of life because it's more seasoned than any new party. Here, period of existence refers to how well the government has performed in governing the nation and providing for its citizens. A stronger sense of public trust in the government will result from improved performance, which will increase the likelihood of victory in the next election. That is why the government will try the best to serve the people in order to secure its office. From now on, the new government is Pakatan Harapan, which is the Prime Minister is Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, will administer the government. Previously, the government that governed Malaysia is Barisan Nasional (BN). In 2022, candidates from other parties lose to Pakatan Harapan. That's Pakatan Harapan win more minority than Barisan Nasional, Perikatan Nasional and Pejuang. Other than that, in Kelantan is ruled by PAS since more than 20 years ago. It is very difficult for other parties to take over the power from PAS. Until now, past is hard to against. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Ashraf, for explaining the main point. And I'm Aizah Azdani bin Amazadi will explain about governance. If there are good results from its governing, then legitimacy will be greatly strengthened. The rulers gain legitimacy by ensuring that the nation economy grows and it is safe, secure, and well-being. This rule, the citizen acknowledging their ability to rule based on their track record. To govern well, there are 8 key traits of good governance. It adheres to the rules of laws and is participative, consensus-oriented, responsible, transparent, responsive, effective, and efficient. It shows that corruption is kept to a minimum. Minorities' opinion are taken into consideration, and the voice of the most vulnerable members of society are heard during the decision-making process. Good governance requires fair legal structure that are applied consistently, and additionally, complete protection of human rights, particularly those of minorities, is necessary. A separate judiciary and an unbiased and incorruptible police force is necessary for the impartial enforcement of the law. Good governance necessitates the mediation of the various interests in society to reach a broad social consensus on what is the best interest of the entire community and how this might be accomplished. It is called for a comprehensive and long-term viewpoint on what is required for sustainable human development and how to accomplish its objective, and understanding the historical, cultural, and social setting of a particular society or community as its only way to do this. Finally, legitimacy is created by act of sense as well as perceptions, guiding views, and behavior should be part of more ways to assess legitimacy.
Thank you, Aizat Hazdani, for the explanation of the governance. So now, my name is Shafarizan Ikma, and now I'm going to proceed with my point, which is structure. People are fairly represented and have a say in the selection of officials and are more likely to obey. A government with a good structure is usually represented by a fair composition of all ethnic groups. By adhering to a specific organizational structure when establishing itself, a state increases the legitimacy of its government. To effectively represent the people, the government must be fair, not to one group but to all. Every race can have a representative in the parliament, for instance, in the Dewan Rakyat. By adhering to a particular rules while establishing itself, a state increases the legitimacy of its government. Individuals have faith in these processes. Given the chance to participate in deciding how the government is organized, a state whose voters choose the leader is more likely to become legitimate. Two balls starts rolling the day Parliament is dissolved, which has yet to happen for the 14th general election. This sometimes happens once every 4 years, but a full term is 5 years. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong official dissolved Parliament upon advice from the Prime Minister, who is previously Datuk Sri Najib Razak, and then now 2022 currently is Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim from Parti Pakatan Harapan. Malaysia elect its representative to the House of Representatives, the lower house of parliament with 2022 members. It is a federal vote here. The 2022 seats candidates are broken down into their various constituencies. Or, to put it another way, there are 222 constituencies and one seat in the parliament to represent each region. Either independent candidate or party member will run for office. Campaign activity will include visit to the kampongs and talk of or rallies. This will start once the nominations are made and stop at midnight the night before the election. The winner of each constituency will be declared by the returning officer. The candidate who received the most votes out of all ballots cast is declared the winner. 112 is the magic number needed to create a legislative majority and government out of the 222 seats available. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Shah, for your explanation about the structure. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Hamza Randul, and I would like to talk about the national symbols. The flag, historical monuments, patriotic parades, and speeches of nationalism aim at convincing people the legitimacy of the government. This carries a symbol of unity and a good country. The connections that the country has with the populace based on their prior achievement enhance their legitimacy. Similarities in religion and ethnicity also facilitate communication between the public and the government. A monarch has historically served as the head of state, so the constitutional monarchy, for instance, recognizes the monarch as such. The national symbols come with many aspects that can become the symbols. For example, as we can explain about the historical, religious, and ethnic identity. These three can be the reason why the national symbol of the country can be more recognized by the world and the public. The populace submits to the authority of the government out of a sense of patriotic duty. People honor the government because they are proud of what their ancestors have accomplished for the nation, and they recall heroic acts and significant historical events. As we speak about the history of the country, there are a lot of historical places and events that have happened and become a memory that the populace hard to forgotten of the moments. Therefore, the history of the country and the people involved in creating the history need to be more recognized so that people can be more appreciate and respect the country more of the country history. Obedience to the government is viewed as a religious duty in several cultures. As our country is a country with a lot of different races, we tend to be more friendly to each other despite the differences same in our religions. Religion is a sensitive issue if we touch on, but there is no such problem. For example, in Sarawak and Sabah, as they were more open to each other cultures, religion is also important in the legitimacy of national symbols because the nations unite with the symbol of unity. Without unity, there is no power within us, as we need the power of our people to fight our country. Therefore, religion needs to be respected by everyone. In countries with a single ethnic majority or forced leadership has a strong links to one group. Ethnic identification may be utilized to inspire allegiance. Members of that ethnic group appreciate the government since it is related to their ethnicity. As with religions, ethnic identification aids in the strengthening ties between the government and the populace. Malaysia has a wide variety of ethnic groups since it is what makes it unique. Because it entails affiliation to a group and adjustment of that group, which may be favorable or unfavorable ethnic identity, is significant for the nation. Thank you. That is for me, and I will pass it to Christopher Wan William to talk about the conclusion of our assignment.
Thank you, Hamza, for the explanation. So, This can be concluded that an absolute thing that must exist in the modern public today is legitimate. Legitimacy is an essential component of all power dynamic. Without legitimacy, power is exercised through coercion. With legitimacy, power can be exercised through voluntary or quasi-voluntary compliance. That's all from us. Thank you.